So to wrap up our week in the Maserati Grecale Trofeo, let's go take this thing on a drive. Of course, it's in drive now via our push button gear selector here, and we can head off onto the roads and enjoy our drive in the Grecale Trofeo. Now, this thing is a true monster, 523 horsepower, and around 457 pound-feet of torque, and all of that comes from this Nettuno twin turbo V6 powertrain under the hood, and that is the heart of this beast. And of course, that's being sent through an 8-speed automatic gearbox to all 4 wheels, and it does so in a way that's very, very rear-wheel drive bias. And now, one thing I will note about this vehicle is that it has a very similar driving profile and overall characteristic to the Grand Cabrio Trofeo that we drove. Like I mentioned, we have all these different drive modes to cycle through. So we have GT, comfort, there's even off-road mode, as well as a sport and a Corsa. I found myself driving it in GT mode most of the time. Comfort's a little too street oriented, I would say. It's a little bit too restrained. Your throttle's reduced a lot, steering softened up. GT, I think, is a nice blend between sport and comfort modes. We have our drive mode Explorer actually in our center console over there, which gives us some really cool animations and stuff to tell you what's going on between all the drive modes, which I think is a fun little feature there. And of course, the wildest 2 modes, sport and Corsa, are really going to allow you to open up the Grecale Trofeo's powertrain and engine. But even as you can see here in GT trim, it makes a lot of wonderful noises out of this system, and especially this exhaust. It really surprised me on the Grecale Trofeo over the course of this week. Of course, you can really adjust the engine yourself with these massive metal paddle shifters we have behind our steering wheel right here, so you can play around with the gears in this 8-speed. Really quick shifts, actually, I have to say. Downshifts are okay. I would say upshifts are a little bit more responsive than the downshifts. Definitely in sport and Corsa mode, though, is where you're going to notice those really snappier upshifts on this Grecale Trofeo. But around town, this car just drives amazing. We have all of these different air suspension adjust modes, from all the way down to 2 lower aero modes, normal, and 2 higher off-road height settings. So you have a lot of adjustment here, and this is in combination with both, of course, this adaptive air suspension and the adaptive dampers, Maserati's Skyhook adaptive damper settings, which means that I could be in sport and I can press this little damper button right here, and this adjusts my dampers to soft instantly, so I'm not having my whole body and head bobble around when I want a little bit more of an aggressive driving and not necessarily that stiffer control throughout the entire vehicle. But you can do that, and it does actually change up the control of this vehicle quite well. And I really like their adaptive content gauge here. We can have a little Ghibli actually as all the follow vehicles around in the screen. I think that's a really fun little touch there. So nice, good stuff with these infographics in the screen. And the second you want any kind of fun, you really can, like I mentioned, pop it into that sport and Corsa mode. Really awakens the vehicle. Steering sharpens up a bit. And the exhaust note from this engine is truly, truly insane. That's quiet. That is a quiet exhaust on this particular mode right now. It gets so much louder, especially about 4,000 RPM. It has that really signature, I would say, Maserati like snarl and growl to the V6. I really like it. It really enhances the overall experience of this vehicle. Also, what's really nice that I've noticed about this Grecale Trofeo and overall in the Grecale lineup is the steering is incredibly precise and sharp. And this has a great front end to this vehicle, and with the staggered tire setup, I think the stance on the road is just overall really great as well. And as you can see in GT and Comfort, the shifts are really quick, smooth. They don't really rattle you in the vehicle as well. It's a little bit more of that comfort, luxurious overall experience. Let's test out the voice commands system here. So this is really cool. We actually have this clock turns into like a voice command screen right there. Turn off climate control.
I've turned off the climate control.
Thank you. Okay, it works with some commands. I've tested it out with a few other more complex things. Doesn't like to do it all the time, but it does work, and the graphic and the response and the quickness of all these screens is awesome. It's really good. Heading out here onto the highway now, we'll get a little bit of a better taste for this exhaust system. So I get, again, really quick shifts here from the ZF 8-speed. It holds gear as well, especially you can lock it in manual mode, which is a nice touch. All right, have a listen to this, guys. That is not fake exhaust sound there. That is all real exhaust sound from this Grecale Trofeo. I absolutely love it. Really awesome stuff coming out of this vehicle. And coming out onto the highway out here, finally, pop it back into GT mode. I think that's really where this mode is super suited well. This car is a wonderful grand tourer in that aspect. And I think that's what really makes a vehicle a Maserati at the end of the day. Can it do a grand tour properly? And this car can. And in that aspect, I think it's one of the best Maseratis alongside the Grand Cabrio and Gran Turismo to do so. I think it's even better than those cars in some aspects, actually, just as it has all of this large storage space as it is a SUV format. This is, in my own opinion, leaps and bounds and galaxies better and different than Levante. It's just an overall, it's just a better car in every single way. It drives sharper, suspension's much more tuned in and calibrated, really flat and kind of well planted, I feel, in the corners. The air suspension is just wonderful to use and kind of play around with. And on the highway here, you just get this really nice sense of just stability, confidence in going in your day-to-day basis. Now, one thing, the steering is really quick. It's really sharp, and even in GT and comfort modes, minimal inputs really do move the car around quite a lot because this front end is so quick. But you just kind of let it sit in a straight line and it just goes. And it has, again, that really wonderful European vehicle feel, higher end vehicle feel, where you can just sit on the highway at higher speeds, highway speeds, and not feel like you're going those speeds. You feel isolated, you feel comfortable. The seats are soft and comfortable, the leather is amazing, you have ventilation and all these great luxury features. But again, we do have radar adaptive cruise control on this particular Grecale Trofeo with kind of the lane keep assist, active lane management. It's not the system where it's going to steer assist for you, or, you know, automatic change lanes for you, but it works really well. It's just a regular radar adaptive cruise control. I believe there is an upgraded system you can actually get on the Grecale as well. So you can really choose between these systems and the options, but I've experienced both and they both work really well. So that's good to see. But overall, I really do think this is a fabulous SUV that I think more people should go out and consider. I know some people have this, you know, built-in perception of the Maserati brand or reliability or any of these things, but it's just so different now, and I really, you know, encourage you to go out and try out one of these cars because I think they're just fantastic. The tech is just awesome. The interiors are a really and true breath of fresh air to get into, because a lot of these competitors, and, you know, not necessarily at this price point, they've just kind of gone down a little bit in quality, gone down a little bit in uniqueness and style, and you get all of that in the Maserati, and you can customize it as well to your liking. And I really like that about this vehicle, and it drives well and it's insanely fast. I almost want to say there's this signature Maserati driving feel that reminds me even so much of the Grand Cabrio Trofeo that we reviewed on this channel. This is from the steering wheel to all the inputs and controls to the driving position. It reminds me a lot of that vehicle, almost jacked up into an SUV format, and that is a good thing in all the ways. It drives just like that, in that sense of that Maserati-esque experience. So really impressed with this car over the course of this few days that we've had, and not even a full week. But huge thanks to Maserati for letting us drive this Grecale Trofeo, and I hope to get some more cool Maseratis down the road to let you guys check out on the channel. As always, as we head off onto the highway, thank you guys for watching Allcarnews, and make sure to and of course make sure to like, subscribe, and follow for more coming soon. Cheers.